let's get ready for this fusion. Hello everybody, I'm Roadblock, and this is a Raid Shadow Legends video, and I realize that this video is going to be coming out a little later than my peers in the Raid Shadow Legends space. There has been a couple of issues, some technical difficulties that we just couldn't work our way around. I don't need to go into any details, just to let you know that if I could have gotten this video out earlier, I would have. So, but we are here now, we are ready to make this video, and so I do believe in this fusion. I think this is a pretty good fusion. I've talked about that in a previous video, and those thoughts were confirmed by a bunch of content creators who were going out and testing it on the test server and indicating how strong this champion is. And the good news is that it's fragment summons. So fragment summons are traditionally going to be a little bit easier, and the reason being that you're just collecting fragments, right? You don't have to do the collecting rares, leveling them, fusing them into an epic, leveling that epic, fusing those into a legendary, right? That can take longer. This, or not longer, but it can be more difficult. It can be more time consuming, and it can be more resource intensive in a lot of ways. Here, all you got to do is complete the requirements, right? And so if you don't already know this, if you go to the news section and you click on the fragment event, and then you can hit on your details. Listen up, I just got a new promo link that you can use to follow along with me on my latest free-to-play adventure and get a free Elenaril, as well as 3 more powerful epics as you level up. Here's how to do it. Log out of Plarium Play and uninstall. Click the link in the description and register with a brand new email. Launch Raid and complete the tutorial. Go to your inbox and claim your first champ. Don't miss out on your chance to get Elenaril right after signing up, as well as Fayne, Uugo, and Tagoar as you progress through Raid. Click on my link right now and let's crush this together. And that's going to bring you to this page right here. Now, what I like to do on this page is I will actually right click this, and then I open it up in a new tab, and then it'll be zoomed in, so it'll look like this, right? And I've already zoomed this in a little bit further than what it is, so it'll be a little smaller than this, and then I've zoomed it in further. And the reason that I do this is, and I actually just keep this tab open on my other monitor over here, so I play Raid over here, boop, boop, and I play, and I'll have other stuff on my monitor over here, and so I will have that up so that I can make sure that I'm completing the fusion in a reasonable amount of time, right? And so I know this is pretty basic stuff, but everyone has their own approach on how to do a fusion. But I wanted to make a recommendation because I've been getting a lot of comments from a lot of new players, and I touched on this many weeks ago, but there's a lot of new players in the game, believe it or not, right? And I want to make sure that they are getting information on the best way to proceed with a fusion. Now, I actually kind of am tempted, if I wasn't so busy and I wasn't about to be out of town and it wasn't the end of summer and juggling so many other things, I would actually probably log on to the OG free-to-play, because I think I got Shayak. I think I either pulled him on that account or I did the fusion for him. I don't remember, but either way, this dog and Shayak are very good combo, and a massive amounts of damage that would really benefit that account in a lot of areas, in fact. But let's just kind of talk about the fusion planning here. Okay, so let's talk about the first half. So at the time of recording, it's technically Wednesday. It's 1 a.m. on Wednesday morning, technically. I've spent Tuesday running Dragon most of the day and doing a little bit of champion training, but really that was just leveling the champions that I've pulled as part of the clan versus clan. So like I got Carnage today, so he's fully 6-star and Ascended. I know Ascension doesn't work for champion training events. If you guys didn't know that, it doesn't. The only way to gain points in champion training events is going to be to level your champion and to gain ranks. Books and Ascension and stuff, those count in tournaments, but not the events, and that's important. However, I get Clan v Clan points for those, which is why I proceeded to do those today, because that is my priority, is getting Clan v Clan. So I did a bunch of Dragon. We do have a tournament going on right now at the time of recording for Sand Devil Turn Attack as well, which I have been doing. I should be getting close-ish to the final tally. Yeah, you can see I'm only 50 away, so that's maybe 2 runs. So I did want to go ahead and do that. I know the reward is it's just an immortal, but I've got a pretty good stockpile of gems and energy right now, so it just felt doable. But let's go back to planning the fusion, and that is relevant because that's some of where my energy is going. But the dragon tournament for me is already completed. I waited until Tuesday to do it because it overlapped with Dungeon Divers 1. So now I just need to do champion training to complete more of the Dungeon Divers. Technically, it does look like Ice Golem is going to overlap. However, I'm going to be out of town Thursday, pretty much the entire day Thursday. So my hope is that I can get the gear enhancement done and basically use this as like a little window where I just kind of won't do a lot in the game, and that will allow me to get the Ice Golem, or I can do the Ice Golem tournament on maybe even Saturday for Ice Golem as part of this other Dungeon Divers. Now we do have some points. We have 30 points available to skip. I haven't really looked that far ahead, and that's 30 points of the total to include 20 points here that you can see, because we get a total of 130, but 20 of those points are from tournament leaderboards, which I don't intend on capitalizing. So this champion training tournament and this champion chase. So really there's only 10 points that I'm going to be able to miss. My plan is to just front load this. I don't want to take a chance, especially with me being out of town and it being the summer and there's a lot of things that could go wrong. So I'm going to front load and then try to reserve things on the back end if I can. So if that means like I skip like a late gear enhancement or a Dungeon Divers, I probably won't be able to skip any of the champion chase, but you know, if I can skip something on the back end, I will probably do that, just because it's a little bit safer for me, if that makes sense. So, but yeah, that's where we're at. So we're doing the dungeon or the dragon tournament, and champion training is my next focus. So champion training will probably be done Wednesday for me. Obviously that's technically today, but I'm gonna go to sleep and then wake up. I've got some errands to run with the kids, and then I'll probably be just grinding out champion training as much as I can. I've got a bunch of stuff ready to go. So I should hopefully have everything done by the end of Wednesday. Dragon, champion training, Dungeon Divers, and gear enhancement. Ice Golem, maybe I wait until Saturday. I mean, this will be solidly into Saturday, so I should be safe to save it for Dungeon Divers too. Like I said, I'm just going to front load. This is just my personal approach. There's probably a few things I could skip. Like I could skip a Dungeon Divers that doesn't overlap with enough tournaments and such. But Dungeon Divers 2 and 1 seem to make the most sense because Ice Golem... So Dragon and Champion Training overlap with this one, and then Ice Golem and Champion Training overlap with this one. So does Spider Tournament technically, so these seem the easiest. Dungeon Divers 3 overlaps a little bit with Spider Tournament and Fire Knight, so that one seems a little bit more, fewer options perhaps to complete it, and it's towards the back end, so it is somewhat worthwhile to skip maybe. But like I said, I think I'm just going to try and do as many events as I can and just make sure I get those 100 fragments, and then just at the end of it, or maybe get the extra fragments, because I still am very far away from High Mother Maud, so it would be good for me to get those fragments so that I could get her on this account as a free champion. So yeah, that's kind of the plan. But the keys that I want to make clear to everybody is make sure that you are doing your best to overlap those Dungeon Divers as much as possible. And when it comes to the gear enhancements, I do want to give a quick tip. I've mentioned this tip a few times before. When it comes to the Forge, you have probably a bunch of silver available to you that's in the Forge that you may not be using. So if you look at this resilience gear here, you can see that if you look at this square here, that is the blue or the rare materials. For the 4 to 5 star gear, we use epic materials and rare materials. And for the 5 to 6 star, we only use epic and legendary, but not the rare materials. Now, like most of us, we are probably only going to be crafting the 5 to 6 star stuff. If you're still at a point on your account where crafting 4 to 5 star stuff, okay, I get that. Maybe you don't want to touch the rare stuff, but I mean, I felt like I was almost past this point only a couple months into my most latest free to play with Supreme Galactic. So pretty sure that, you know, you're probably better off, depending on how far your account is and where you feel you're at, but I don't find a lot of value in the 4 to 5 star gear. I mean, I'd really much rather just save the epic materials for the 5 to 6 star gear, right? So, why am I saying all this? Because since we don't use the rare fragments in the big boy stuff, this gives you a huge opportunity for silver. Because what you can do is you can spend 1,000 or 10,000 silver and get your investment back in the form of silver. So one of the biggest complaints I hear about going for a fusion is not having enough silver to do the gear enhancement events. Well, that's my secret to silver is the forge. That, and you should generate a pretty consistent amount of silver while doing champion training. And if you're kind of into the late game like my account is, you're also going to generate a lot of silver from running your dungeons because you're probably not keeping very many pieces. I don't think I kept very many pieces at all from, I think I've got 2 pieces that I'm going to keep, and even this one, I think I'm just going to actually sell that. This is a speed with accuracy, so I'll keep that. It's 6-star boots, and those could be pretty good maybe for faction wars. But yeah, that's pretty much the only piece I kept from Dragon, unless there were any pieces that didn't go into my inventory. If we look at just new, this is a sell instantly. So yeah, so I make a lot of silver by just running those dungeons, which are part of the overall thing. So as you're doing those dungeons and doing that champion training, you are going to gain silver, which a lot of people don't calculate that when they're considering it. As far as the champion training event, I'm still very, very low into it. I've got quite a bit more ways to go. I'm probably going to try to push my account a little bit since I've saved some resources by not doing the Titus fusion, which is a mistake in hindsight, but I couldn't have done it because I was out of town for a period of time on it. So it makes a lot of sense here to go for this legendary book, because books are actually, I'm pretty behind on my books because I have not been playing the game as actively as I used to. So this will be a good value for me to go ahead and just do this champion training. And the good news is I have a pretty decent number of champions that I think I can train up, or maybe it just ends up being food or whatever, but I'm in a really good spot with resources. 3,000 gems is probably more gems than I've had in a while, and I already still have plenty of energy saved up. When it comes to clan v clan, we are competing at rank 5, which is really, really fun for me and the clan because we get a ton of resources out of it, and my goal is going to be 400,000 for the personal rewards, as you guys can see. So I am going to be pushing and pushing and pushing to get those rewards, and so I'm currently at 289,000, halfway through the clan versus clan. So I just got to pump out another 100k tomorrow. That should be relatively easy to do, just completing quests and whatnot. So plus doing champion training and all that stuff. So yeah, I feel like I'm in a really good spot for this fusion, and I just wanted to kind of give my thoughts and my tips. But I do realize that you guys have probably already made out your plans since we're already several days into the fusion, but just wanted to give you guys my thoughts on my approach. Like I said, for me and just my current situation, because I'm gone all day Thursday, I'm gonna front load this as much as I can and just not risk anything, and probably keep the extra fragments. I used to do that for fragment events, and seeing as I actually have some resources saved up for the first time in a long time, it's feels pretty worthwhile for me to just save those resources moving forward. So ultimately, I just want to say thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for all of the support, and thank you so much. The summer's not almost over, but my quote-unquote summer is almost over. So my son comes and spends time with me during the summer months, and that is coming to an end in just a couple of days. That's why I'm going out of town on Thursday, and so it's always a really hard time for me, but I've also been incredibly busy this summer trying to give him a very enjoyable summer, him and my daughter, right? And so it's been an adventure, and I just want to say thank you guys so much for sticking with me. I know some of the content got a little loosey-goosey in there, but I hope to get back into more direct and strong Raid Shadow Legends content coming up in the future. So thank you guys so much for sticking with me. If you're new here, please consider subscribing. It is a very good way to support my channel, and I super appreciate that. And I look forward to seeing you all in my next video. Take care.